The best way to start your day. America's First News with Matt Ray.
Good Friday morning. America's First News continues on this 21st day of February. President Trump's longtime ally, Roger Stone, sentenced to 3 years and 4 months in prison Thursday by Judge Amy Berman Jackson. The president speaking out about it during a speech before former prisoners at a criminal justice event in Las Vegas yesterday.
And I'm following this very closely, and I want to see it play out to its fullest because Roger has a very good chance of exoneration, in my opinion.
President Trump had denounced as a miscarriage of justice the initial Justice Department recommendation that he get at least 7 years in prison. Attorney General Bill Barr also backing off that recommendation that prompted 4 prosecutors to quit the case. Let's bring in our legal expert. Austin Pennington joins us from time to time here on America's First News. He's a trial attorney and legal expert. Austin, thank you for joining us here. We appreciate it as always.
Good to be here, Matt.
So talk about, first of all, let's get into the original recommended sentence, Austin, if we can. And what was that based on? How does the Justice Department come to a conclusion like that?
So the original recommended sentence was 7 to 9 years. And in the federal system, as many people are aware, we have sentencing guidelines. So there's certain parameters that are uniformly applied across different criminal offenses across all the states in the federal system. And so the prosecutors were on the upper echelon of that sentencing guideline, and they were really trying to go for, if you want to put it this way, go for the gold, right, and set an example with Roger Stone. And that's how they started out with, in my opinion, I agree with President Trump and with Judge Jackson that it was way too high what the recommendation initially was.
So they were looking to make an example and throw the book at him. This is the same judge that's prosecuted others. Is that? Well, I guess that wouldn't come from the Justice Department, though, so that really doesn't matter. But she does have she did have the option of whether or not to take it, though. Am I right?
She did. So, and that's the thing about our federal criminal system is the judges have the power when it comes to sentencing someone accused of an offense. And I agree, in my opinion, that she did the right thing. I mean, Mr. Stone is a nonviolent first-time offender. He's getting up there in age. And so I think she recognized, just like the Attorney General recognized, this was not the person to set an example for, even though it was a high-profile case. This was just not the right case to try and really set the bar for future cases.
So what are Roger Stone's options now?
Well, at this point, it appears that he's still trying to I'm going to use the word appeal. It's not really necessarily appealing the sentence yet. That's an option once the case is finalized that he could appeal it and take it up to the appellate court level. But it looks like he probably is going to try some other options, like hopefully through his political connections to see if he can get something done here. I really don't believe that there's much that he's going to be able to change because the sentence has come down. It's a very low sentence relative to what they were looking at. And so I really think he's probably going to be stuck with it.
Outside of any potential pardon, yeah, it looks like you might be
Correct.
Stuck with it. Is this significant, Austin, when you are talking about Michael Flynn and you're talking about, we know Paul Manafort has been convicted and charged and put away, but does this have any significance on that?
I think it does, because all of these things are happening within the same kind of time frame. We're dealing with a lot of these issues that are in the public spotlight. So I think it has an effect, albeit maybe not as big of a one as everybody would think, because, again, we have judges making these sentencing decisions versus having a jury, which is more likely to be swayed like you would maybe in state court.
All right, Austin, I'm going to put you in the head of the president here. Most people I ask to go in there say I'm not doing it just because he speaks for himself. But you heard him say he expects exoneration. What could that possibly mean?
Well,
I know as an attorney you don't like to pontificate, but from a legal standpoint.
Well, no, Matt, I appreciate you saying that because you're right. We don't like to pontificate too much or go too far down that road. But to answer your question, I think that President Trump's he's posturing with what he's saying here because obviously he's associated with Roger Stone and he wants to he wants to save face as much as he possibly can. I don't think his statement that he expects exoneration is reasonable. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that stone is stuck with the sentence. I think it's going to stay there, and nothing's going to change from it.
Austin, we appreciate your time. As always, we'll check back in with you. Thank you so much.
Hey, Matt, good to hear from you, and we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. That's Austin Pennington. He's a trial attorney and legal expert. You can find out more at pfdallas.com. That's pfdallas.com. Austin Pennington joining us from time to time here on America's First News.